Hello, welcome to the second lecture on The Camera Never Lies. This is going to be the first substantive lecture, although it is by its very nature another survey. We talked about in the introduction the way that our view of history is influenced by images. I want to look really today in the context of the 20th century and the way that images have become part of our information gathering, not just simply posed photographs, but very much those which are dealing with real events in real time. Now, I'm going to focus on some of the material which is in a book edited by Colin Jacobson by the title of Underexposed, and use that as a reference for what we're doing today. Now, we can't put that book online, but what I will do is try and use as many free to air, so to speak, open access images through media outlets to help you go through this material separately after the lecture. Now, the 6 main points I want to talk about today, firstly to look at Adolf Hitler and his use of images. Secondly, to touch briefly on the nature of propaganda, and in this case looking at 2 images from the Boer War, which was 1899 to 1902, and similarly touch on an image, a very famous image from the Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s. This will be to illustrate generally how 1 or 2 images, key images, can have a resonance to the way we actually deal with history. More substantially in this lecture, I want to deal with the Vietnam War and through the eyes of Don McCullin, arguably the greatest war photographer, and to see how some of the key instances of his photography have helped shape our opinion. Looking at the Blitz, another area of conflict. This is not intended to be a war or violence-related course, I promise you, but I want to put forward images which are striking and will be challenging. And certainly when it came to the Blitz, there is a balance between what the newspapers could publish at the time of the events between 1940 and 1941 and the German bombing of London, and what would be appropriate for public morale. So it's a little bit of an issue regarding what was shown at the time and what was held back. Now, along those lines, I want to conclude today by talking about something that's very current in most memories in Britain, and that's the riots of 2001. And to look at the photo reported, the BBC websites in particular, of events, because we have a voluminous set of images which are available on the web almost instantaneously. But to reflect that back to what happened in 1981 and the Brixton riots and other riots in London, and to look at the degree there are similarities not simply by the images but also by the nature of the conflicts and why British youth and members of the public more generally came in conflict with law and order and, if you like, institutions of capitalism with regards to both looting and damage. So in this context, we're doing a survey through the first part of this course over the 20th century and looking at some key points where images can make a difference in the way that A, contemporaries interpreted events, and B, how historically we might go back and look at those again and think about how we would reappraise once images would come to light that weren't available at the time.